It's time for To The Last Drop podcast with Liam Delcalm and Brendan Nell.
Welcome back. It's To The Last Drop. I'm Brendan Nell, and with me, as always, is Liam Delcalm. We have a special guest tonight, Stormers captain. Well, I'm not sure if he's captain this week, but he was captain against the Sharks. Neethling Fouche, who's obviously looking forward to a very big game. Number 8, I see the Stormers website says at the moment. It's going to be the 8th time they hopefully beat the Bulls from a Stormers perspective. I'm sure the Bulls are hoping something else. Neethling, welcome.
Careful what you say, Brendan. We know where you live.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat rugby and a bit of wine, so I'm lucky to be on.
Let's start off with the most recent news, the Springbok alignment camp. You were given an invitation. You've got to go there next week. It's a decent Cape Town, so you don't have to travel too far. But how do you feel about making that, and just excited, I suppose?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's when I got the news, I was quite emotional. When I got the news. Obviously, like my story has been a bit different. A lot of dry years coming out of school, and just persevere through all of the tough times, and kept on working and dreaming about the possibility of being part of the Springbok group, any form of capacity. It's so it's been a bit surreal, just almost finding out, and just all the emotions that comes with it. But obviously, like, it's early days, and it's only an alignment camp, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
You make an interesting point, because you're right, because your journey has been slightly different. I mean, I remember interviewing you a while back, where you spoke about how you will not be defined by rugby. There are other things that, in your life. That in itself sort of unburdens you, I suppose, to play the game and live, sort of let that journey take itself.
Yeah, no, 100%, Liam. So I think I also told you back then, like, my whole thing has been just to, I just want to reach my potential, as a rugby player, because for a long time I just felt like, due to injuries and I mean, not coming through the ranks as quickly as I wanted to. I wasn't reaching my potential, and that's always been almost the focus for myself, is just to reach my potential, and wherever that takes me or leads me, I'll be happy. Recently, as I've gotten more starts in a row, I've almost, like, I think, knocked on that potential door of my abilities. I think I've still got a little bit to go, but and it's obviously now it shows, with being included in an alignment camp. So it's nice, but like you say, rugby is only a part of my life. It's not. I'm not Neethling Fouche, a rugby player. All that. I know for some people I would be, but for people that know me, it's like I play rugby. I'm blessed to do it, but I like to be defined. Just the man that I am, the person that I am, and also the time we play rugby is so, it's 15 years maybe if you're lucky, 20 years if you're Brock Harris. So it's a big life. It's a long life after rugby also. It's definitely not something that I try to just think of myself as a rugby player. Yeah.
Neethling, I want to take you back to probably one of those dark times. So I still wrote a story way back in Report a couple of years ago about a list that was doing the rounds at SA Rugby's president's meeting of a bunch of Western Province players that the then CEO wanted to offload at that stage. And I remember your name pertinently being on that, which I was quite surprised at. I mean, I know it's a horrible way to read stuff like that in the newspaper, but I mean, that's the type of thing you're talking about. I mean, that probably wasn't the best probably your time in Cape Town there at Province.
No, I mean it's the type of list you don't want to be a part of, and it's almost like the headmaster's list, of guys having to come and see him. Yes, I remember that. That was quite a shock for I think for all of us. That was just deemed third plus. It's like I just moved. I just asked my now wife, back then girlfriend, to marry me and move, to Cape Town. And basically 6 months in, the article comes out of, I think it was the words was anyone looking for players, and then there was a list. And I mean, it was actually crazy. I got calls from. My agent called me, and my dad called me. Lots of people were calling me. They're like, "Listen, they didn't want to speak to you about this." And I'm just like, "Guys, I just found out, just as you guys did." And I mean, I remember Chris from Sale. He was also on that list, and he was Western Province captain at that time. Skaram Tubeni, a few other guys. It's actually, I thought, like, were stalwarts at the Stormers back then. I mean, that was just, I think it actually just spoke, of also where Western Province was back then. I think lots of stuff happening behind the doors, which us players didn't even know about. Dobo obviously came out quickly and just said, "Listen, this is not how we feel. This is not something that we put out. We obviously rate you, and we see a future for you." So, yeah, but I mean, again, it's never nice to be able to read those stuff in the news, because it always, it makes you as a player, you can be as, experienced, or, what's the word, old or what, but, it's never nice to read something like that, because you immediately start almost questioning, like, listen, but, what is my players looking like here? So, yeah, a bit of a tough few weeks then, but luckily, everything worked out quite all right.
What has kept you going, Neethling? Because I mean, obviously, players go through over peaks and through troughs, and they sort of have to have a mental attitude, to keep on pushing. What's been your motivation? Whether it's through injuries, or whether you read things like that, or whether you feel that you're not a first team member all the time. What keeps you ticking?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's. I think there's a few stuff, that I think almost is the makeup of my motivation, to play rugby and to keep on almost pushing myself to reach my potential. It's. I mean, the obvious one is just you want to make your family proud. Like, I went to my parents back in grade 10. I was in Rustenburg back then, Rustenburg High School, and I told them, listen, I want to give rugby like a full go, but I don't think I'm not going to get the best exposure where I was back then, playing for the Leopards, and they almost, they had to make a few plans, because going to Grey wasn't. It was a bit of a more, financial stretch for my parents. So they had to make a few sacrifices on that end to almost let me go, to Grey, and to pursue the dream of playing rugby. So I'm conscious that every time I get to go out there and play rugby, it's also because of a lot of sacrifices they made to be able to send me to go and play in a brilliant rugby school, be part of something really special. So it's I think most rugby players will say that you just want to make your family proud. You want to let them have a lucky weekend, drink a beer with their friends, say, that's my son, I'm proud. And then, like I said about my potential, I really believe, like, I got this gift from the big man upstairs, to play rugby, and to also to be able to influence guys, through that platform, help people in whatever way I can, not just, in rugby, but, helping people outside, with whatever that looks like. And I mean, like, I think it's something that you either have or you don't, and just waking up every morning and thinking to yourself, how can I get better? How can I get closer to that full potential that you almost know is out there, but you haven't reached yet? I mean, I've got a massive passion for rugby. It's like I tell my wife a lot, and we speak about it. When I'm driving to training on a Monday, it's like I can just think like how many people in their lives almost dread that feeling of driving to work. You're not really excited about the week lying ahead. Whereas I like genuinely look forward to my week. I look forward to be able to mix with the guys. At rugby, it's 100% what I wanted to do when I was a little boy. I wanted to play rugby, and I'm fortunate enough to do it. So, it's like I say, it's not only one answer. There's a few stuff that almost gets me up every morning and makes me go in and do the gym sessions properly, do the field sessions properly. Be engaged in the meetings. Really, not. I've almost as I've grown up, just gone with this mindset of you never want to waste a day. Whereas we are the junior back then, sometimes you would almost just say, okay, I'm just going to get this day over with. Whereas now there's not a lot of days left, in this environment that we are, and it's almost just about making every day, count, because there's not a lot left, unfortunately.
The other thing I was going to say, I mean, I was going to turn a bit more to this week's game, and then I was going to first ask you, is France back from all these kudu controlling things in the Karoo? Has he tamed all those kudus and got them back in their place, and is he there again? And secondly, what's it been like to obviously, have somebody like that who's really a legend of the game, and will obviously go down in history as one of the greats of the game, and to work with every day and to feed off that knowledge as well.
Yeah, no. So the kudu population is under control again. That's the good news. They were running riot there in the Karoo, so then they got France out there just to get the numbers back in line. But yeah, he has been back training. He's it's obviously it's a bit of a special case, with his lower back, and just almost making sure that everything is fine before giving him the green light. I also believe that he is the most important guy in the national setup. Like you just in the second part of the question, I have no doubt that he is the best guy that ever played for South Africa. Where he's going to be. I mean the amount of load that his body has gone through. For him. Not a lot of people speak about it or remember it, but he played in a Currie Cup final when he was, I think, 21 years old. He gets here and Skara, played against Beast, Yanni du Plessis back then, and Bismarck. So you start your professional career when you're 20, 21 years old. I think he's 33 this year. That's a 13-year career of not. A bit of Varsity Cup, and then maybe Vodacom Cup, and then Super Rugby. He's been in the thick of it, since day one, basically. So, his body has gone through a lot. So that's, I think that's why everyone knows, they have to do his rehab properly. Make sure he's strong. Make sure when you get a certain age, I don't think the pain will completely ever go away, but you just want to get it back to manageable. And he's been training this last few weeks. So yeah, I mean we'll see when the squad gets selected if the Buffalo is terug.
For a game like the one that you've got this weekend, obviously it's massive. I had a conversation with the Storm's coach a while back, and we said it's probably the biggest sort of South African derby since your final in the URC 2 years ago. So obviously there's a lot riding on it. Is a game like this something that the guys, the significance thereof, is it something that you guys talk about? Or is it just you look at it as a game and prepare for it like you would for any other game?
No,
I'm talking about the psychology in particular.
Yeah, no, I mean it is special. You can't lie and say, okay, you're just treating it as another game. In that sense, it is another game, but it is against the Bulls. It's a north south. It's got all the history that's attached to it. It is just it is what it is. It's more personal. You want to win that game, and they want to beat us badly. That's just how it is. And it's not like the other games are less important or anything, but just I think the history around there's north south. I think that's what makes it special. It's about knowing all those big moments that happen. You think of Skalkberger's tackle on Fouche, and you think of the Bulls winning the Super Rugby final back then, I think in Soweto. You think of all those games. I mean, Brocky Harris has been in almost 100 of them on his own. And he always speaks about this as being it's what it's about. For you as rugby players. I mean, if I'm just thinking again, when I was little, me and my brother watching games, it's the Western Province Blue Bulls games, that's the ones you remember, and it's just, you just know how fortunate you are to be a part of it. And obviously the fans, they get on board like from early on. And, you've got lots of guys at a workplace, they're friends, but also the one is a Blue Bull, the one is a Stormer, so you've got that rivalry. But at the end of the day, it's very healthy, it's healthy for SA Rugby. Having these derbies, that's really alive and well again. If you look at that game, we played against them in December. All those people coming out, and hopefully this weekend will be the same.
The thing I was going to say, a lot's going to be said this week, and it's said the last couple of games about you guys' record against them. And all the memes go around about the 007 and things like that, and I'm sure there's a few chirps on the field as well. How much does that filter down to you guys? I know the fans love to, the Stormers fans are crowing at the moment because they're on top, and the Bulls fans are obviously hurting there. But how much does that filter down to you guys on the field? Because I can take a bet that a bunch of you have known each other before you went to the provinces from schoolboy days and things like that. So there's probably a bunch of friendships there anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, you look at the, all the Springboks they have. We've got a bunch of those guys have been through, something special at the World Cup quite recently. So you've got friendships there. You've got a lot of guys that's played together. Me and Volku played together at junior level back in, at the Bulls. A few of us actually also, were at the Bulls. One or two of them were at the Stormers. So, there's friendships there, definitely. But again, it's on that day you want to get one over them, and they want to get one over you. I think the whole almost the last few what do they call it, the last 7 games we've won, they call it what you said now, 007, all that. I don't think that that's something that we speak about too much. It's again, rugby is such a fickle game, and people's memories are quite short. There was literally a time, back when the Bulls, I think, would beat us like 6 or 7 times in a row. That was around COVID, and not a lot of fans. We didn't have a lot of fans back then, but they also had us, like quite a few times in a row. So I won't say we'll ever tread that road of thinking, we've got the number or anything like that, because our rugby, if you don't pitch up on the day, it can change very quickly. And they're quality side. They wouldn't be lying, I think, second or third at the moment. So it's full focus, and you have to treat this game, as if there's no winning sequence. You just have to go at this game just like it's the first North South you're playing in. So yeah, no, it's like it's like I said, it's a couple of guys that know each other, but also you all of us are quite proud and very competitive and want to get one over the other guy, 100%.
Having said all that, Neethling,
sorry, I just want to ask Neethling to come in and tell the story. He knows the story I'm going to ask him to tell now. This derby is also very special to you because of your family, your in-laws. And we can share that. I know we've spoken about it before, but maybe just share it here for our listeners.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll try and put it in a nutshell. But yeah, basically, so my father-in-law, he was a massive Stormers fan, like massive. I mean, he was a minor in Rustenburg, but he had season tickets on Newlands, and he would go there at least once a month. He'd fly down and he'd take a couple of friends, his family, and they would go and watch the Stormers or Western Province play. So he was like a massive. I mean, he had in his house photos of him with I think basically all the Stormers. You know, even now I see photos of my wife when she was a little girl. You know, with Breiti and Corné Krieger and there's one of Docs. You know, there's so many photos. You know, of them, like after a game, you know, just my father-in-law waiting around to see the players. So he was a massive Stormers fan, and I was obviously playing for the Bulls back when I was a junior, and you know, obviously me and my wife, you know, started you know, almost socializing a bit there on university, and she invited me to her house, and I was like, you know, going there, like thinking, okay, like I'm gonna meet her parents now, and I got there, and I think his words now came true. You know, and she told me, Neethling plays for the Blue Bulls. You know, as much as he loved the Stormers, he hated the Bulls. He stand the Bulls. He was just always going on about them, and the funny part actually is he's there were two directors back at their company back then, and he was the big Stormer, and his partner was a big Blue Bull, you know, and he's still got a suite there at Loftus, and he always comes for the games, you know. So they had that rivalry back, you know, at their workplace. They were best friends, but they also, when the Bulls and Stormers were playing, they weren't speaking to each other for that week, and yeah, I mean, like he just gave me the silent treatment, you know. I think for the first few months of going to visit my wife, you know, he would basically maybe just now and then greet me, but I don't think he actually acknowledged that I'm like, you know, I'm actually, you know, serious about his daughter. You know, I mean, he actually had a relationship going. He was just calling me Janka's friend, you know, when he was introducing me to his friends, he would just say, "Oh, that's Janka's friend." And I'm like, "Oh, actually, I'm a boyfriend," but I wasn't saying it. I was thinking it. I was too scared of him. And then, yeah, I mean, at some point he was just like, "Okay, this guy's not going away, and he's actually not too bad." And he started like, you know, befriending me, and we started, you know, we actually started a nice relationship where we were really close. And you know, he kept on telling me, "Listen, why don't you move to the Stormers? Why don't you go to the province? That would be like perfect." You know, I was like telling him, "Listen, I don't have any, you know, I wasn't thinking about going to the Stormers. I'm not thinking like that's my story, you know, going to the Stormers. And either if you want to go, that's one thing, you know, they must also want you." So he was just telling me, "Listen, that would be perfect. If you could play for the Stormers, we would be flying every game, coming to watch." And he was saying he would move down to Cape Town and making plans. And yeah, unfortunately, 2017, we lost him in quite a sudden heart attack. Yeah, he was gone, and a month later, I got an offer from Western Province to go and play, to move down to Cape Town and go and play for the Province and Stormers. And yeah, as soon as I got that offer, I was quite emotional because he would have actually been the guy that I would have wanted to call quite quickly and tell him, "Listen, this is happening now. Your dream is happening." And yeah, I mean, we lost him, and and like, you know, when I'm playing for the Stormers now, it is quite a sentimental thing for me, because I don't feel like, you know, I never feel like I own this jersey. It's just you're just almost a timely steward of a jersey. You know, you've got your time in it. It doesn't belong to you. And I always just think of, you know, what it would have meant to him if he could have seen his son-in-law, you know, play for his beloved team. But yeah, I mean, like I said in that story, you know, I know he's watching, you know, and again, like in weeks like this, it's, you know, I know he's got his watching party, you know, they're in heaven, just telling, you know, everyone, listen, this is my son-in-law, playing for the Stormers. So yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's a bit of a family affair. Yeah, and it is something that I get quite emotional about, you know, on this games especially, you know, because you just know what it meant to him, yeah, you just hope you're making him proud.
Neethling, it was quite a poignant story, and I would imagine, I mean, having made that move, finding yourself in new surrounds, having to make new friends, new teammates. How have you sort of over the years, how has that relationship developed? You and your teammates growing as a team, playing in the URC, winning it. And it seems like the team is going from strength to strength, but it also looks like you guys are having fun.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, yeah, I think, you know, back then when I joined the Stormers, I was, you know, it's like anything when you get to a new school, you get to a new workplace, you know, the first few days is a bit awkward. You don't really know where to stand, where you're sitting at lunch, you know, or you're sitting next to someone, you know. But actually, I remember JD Schickerling just almost took me under his wing quite quickly, and we became very good friends quite quickly, you know. And his wife and my wife also great friends. So that helped a lot, you know, him, you know, just almost looking after me. And he also, so I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I have a motorbike that I 90% of the time use, because in this Cape Town traffic you can't drive with a car. I mean, you have to drive an hour before training if you want to get there in time. So I have a motorbike, and he also had a motorbike, and we drive into training together. You know, that we had this like a group. Quibus Visa also had a motorcycle, and we used to drive in together. You know, they were driving in the front, just flipping bean poles, and I was just here chilling at the back. So, I mean, that helped a lot. But I think the whole culture at the Stormers is one of, you know, as togetherness, and, you know, you always making everyone feel part of something. That's a big thing at the Stormers. You really you've got a bunch of guys that really enjoys each other's company, and we really care for each other. So I think that helps us, you know, in those games where you need the little bit of fight, or that extra 1 or 2%, you know, that is just stuff that comes through. We really like I say, you know, we enjoy each other's company, and it's not only the rugby, you know, we enjoy having a beer with each other, and it's something that stems from Dobby, and the way he sets everything up, make sure that everyone feels part of the environment, because it's tough, you know. You've got a squad of 50 odd guys, you know, and only 23 can play on a weekend, and it's a juggling, you know, it's a difficult juggling act to make everyone feel like they belong and they're safe. And I mean, he gets it right, you know. That's almost the secret in the recipe is, you know, making everyone feel really that they have a voice in the team. And yeah, like we don't have, we strive to never have egos, you know. We'd like, you know, no egos. No one thinks he's better than anyone else. All of us are here it's a privilege for us to be here. It's not your right. So no, it's something that I have to give Dobbo credit for. The way he organizes things. Out of from rugby also. Which really strengthens the bonds of friendship.
If I could just follow up quickly, apart from being outstanding tight head, proper, and a leader in the Stormers group, you also, let's put it this way, a bit of a social lubricant for the team. I mean, you bring a smile to the guys' faces often, and it's also taken on almost like an official capacity.
Yeah, so my dad is, he's also a guy that he doesn't wait too. He don't ever wait too long before a joke comes. He's a very humoristic guy. Looks at the lighter side of life, and I mean it's just something that I got from him. Obviously, it's I don't think it's ever great to take life too seriously. I mean we've all got our struggles, in some form of, we've all got our stuff that we're dealing with. And my thing is always just to give someone a laugh, make someone feel a little bit better about their day, and just remind people that, it's everything that is happening in your life. That stuff is gonna blow over. We go through the seasons in life, of ups and downs, and sometimes you can feel very heavy. And I just like to, almost help guys not feel heavy, and the people that know me well, they know I'm actually quite a deep guy. I like to chat about deep stuff, and I care a lot for all of my friends. And I'll do anything for my friends and for my family. But I do like the humor side of things. And the fine sessions after games, that's always like, we get in, and it's all good banter, and it speaks about the culture at the Stormers, where they actually encourage us to be yourself. We've got lots of different personalities, and we don't see it as an obstacle. We see it as making us strong. We've got lots of guys coming from different backgrounds, but we all get together for the one goal, and that is to make the Stormers, play great, make Cape Town smile. So, yeah.
Neethling, I remember doing an interview with Ruben van Heerden when he was still at the Bulls at that stage, and he was telling us how he likes to read Shakespeare and things like that. You say a deep guy. Do you guys have those philosophical chats, or is that not what happens at rugby meetings?
I think if he wants to speak about Shakespeare, he must go to Dobbo. Dobbo is quite also a guy for all the deep poems, and he's obviously written a few books, and so maybe we must set Dobbo and Ruben up for a coffee. But Ruby, he's a good friend of mine, and we obviously got a passion for rugby, but our conversations is again, we can go quite deep. Me, him, and BJ Dixon. We have lots of chats that actually, that doesn't even go about is about rugby. Just speaking about life, speaking about Jesus. Speaking about just like random stuff. So that's lucky. It's nice to have to have those conversations again, because like I said, it's rugby is only a small part of life.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, I mean, the one thing that comes through quite clearly by the way you guys play is that the culture in the team is pretty good. I mean, both Liam and I have been around rugby teams for a number of years, and you can immediately pick up if the culture is good and things are going well in the team and guys want to play for each other. So that's always great to see. And as you say, Dobbo is a huge part of that. He does some fabulous work, and he's not your conventional coach, is he?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's. I think the way he puts everything together. Now, if you look at the English, the Premiership, you just think of the football teams. You think of the managers that they have. It's a manager. He put everything together, and that's just how I see Dobbo. He puts everything together. There's a lot of work that that goes on in the background that people don't know about that Dobbo is doing. And that's 100% because he's so passionate about the Stormers and Western Province rugby. You know, that's his thing. He bleeds. And I don't want to sound like a cliche, but he bleeds the blue and white hoops. It's a family thing also for him. You know, there's a lot of stories that comes from his dad and so on. And he's really he only wants to make sure that Western Province and Stormers are strong, and I mean, we're grateful for that because I think it's one thing to have someone just, you know, coming in to do a job, but he's really like, I can't see him doing anything else. He's just so passionate about the Stormers, and making sure that we enjoy our times playing for the Stormers, and actually, you know, making the whole Cape Town and the wider Western Cape, you know, just making them a part of it, and making them know that we are playing for them, playing to make their weeks a bit better. You know, all of us know, you know, when the Springboks win a Springbok, you know, a test and in the World Cup, you know, that your week is just, you know, everything is a little bit better. You know, you're looking at the glass half full, everyone's a little bit more patient at work, and everything is nice, and you know, and I mean, we're only the Stormers, we're not the Springboks, but we like to think that we can make the people of the Western Cape just a little bit, their weeks a little bit lacquer, and you know, just give them something to look forward to again on the next Saturday.
So we've just lost Liam. He's had some sort of Joburg crisis. His Wi-Fi and everything's crashed. But we're going to carry on. This is, of course, the other thing. As we warned you, this is a bit of a wine show as well. I'm drinking a glass of Pinot Noir at the moment. But Liam actually had the question that he wanted to ask you about. This was, first of all, what wine do you drink, and do you drink Neethlingshof?
Neethlingshof. No, actually, I haven't had Neethlingshof lately. We actually quite fortunate to stay in the Stellenbosch wine route. So we've got Beierskloof just across by state. I mean, you don't have to look too far, you know, than the Beierskloof Pinotage. And then we've got Kanonkop, you know, like I think 2 or 3 minutes away. Cadet, you know, that's one of me and my wife's favorites. I mean, then you've got the Franschhoek, you know, wine route quite close by. We actually spoiled for choice here. I mean, we just, you know, you can, on the other side, you go to Ernie Alto, Hidden Valley, Peter Falke. You know, there's just too much. I mean, we've been staying in Western Cape now for, it's almost now 2017, 7 years, and I think we've only managed to see, I think, 10 or maybe 15% of all the wine farms available here. So no, we spoiled for choice.
I know you're rubbing it in, but you must keep on trying. I mean, you must try and get to all of them. I make that my mission. I try and drink as much wine as possible as well. And your teammates, who's the biggest, I won't say wino, but the wine connoisseur?
Yes, I think France actually, you know, he's got a nice, you know, knowledge of all the wines that there is. I know Rowan also enjoys his wine. Achiva, yeah, I think Achiva also enjoys his wine. And obviously Ciabello, you know, he's got his own wine. So he's I think the big guy that we speak about. You know, if you have any wine questions, you go to Ciabello, you know, he's got all the answers.
I'd like to see the wine that Achiva drinks. He's a rather flamboyant character at times, as we've seen.
Yeah.
I think he must come on the show at some point and must tell us, and we'll get him on here at some point. Yeah. Final question from me, just a bit of a curveball one. You remember the movie The Hangover?
Yes.
It's the comedy, which everybody watched. So you remember the character Alan, the guy with the beard, Jack Galifianakis? If you had to cast one of your teammates to be him, who would it be? I thought he was a curveball.
Okay. That Galifianakis. No, we actually had Jan Bleeler at the Stormers, I mean, he's like a lookalike, for him. But he's at the Sharks now, so can't go with him. I mean, it has to be someone short and chubby. Yes. Let me think of it. So I think Ali van Mark would actually be a nice option. Yeah. I mean, Andre Genswender maybe. If he picked up a few kgs, maybe one. Yeah.
Wow. No, cool, man. So thanks for the chat and good luck for Saturday. And that's a big game. And I'm sure that depending on who people support, it's going to be a crack. And hopefully Loftus does get filled up. It'd be great to see 51,000 people there as well. But good luck for the game.
Yeah. No, thanks, Brendan. Thanks for having me. And I say cheers to Liam. I hope he gets his Wi-Fi going again. Yeah, thanks. It was nice. I enjoyed it, and we'll chat again.
Yeah, no, thanks. And that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week to the last drop, and we'll see what happened. We'll discuss that fixture at length. And that's all for us. Cheers. Chat to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening, and a reminder, you can find all the To The Last Drop podcasts on the Brendan Nell YouTube channel, iono.fm, Spotify, Player.fm, Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, and iTunes, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.